Hi, everyone. Quite often, you're going to have information in ArcGIS that is sort of an information overload. There's just too many things, and you just want to pare it down to the bare essentials. And I think of, for instance, with the landform regions of Canada, I quite often have my grade nines do a short little activity where they're focusing on one particular landform region, and they just want to show that landform region instead of all the landform regions for the entire country. So you can get your layer turned on, and then what you need to do is hover over top of the layer that you want to filter. So you have to be careful not to be looking at the wrong layer. Students will quite often do this. They'll be like, I can't find, for instance, the names of provinces. And it's like, oh, because you're looking at the wrong layer, you're filtering the wrong layer. So um, hover over top of the layer that you want to work with, and then click on the filter tool, which is that little yellow feature. And you're going to choose how you're going to filter based upon this drop-down menu. So typically name, and there you've got all sorts of different choices. So is not blank or is a particular thing. So for instance, let's say we want to find the Canadian Shield. So I choose the Canadian Shield and I click on apply filter, and sometimes it takes a few moments, and now just the Canadian Shield is being highlighted. Now, if I want to have multiple things highlighted, so for instance, let's say I want Alberta and Ontario to be highlighted on a map of Canada. In that case, I'm just going to turn on my provinces and territories. I'm going to click on the filter tool, and I need two expressions. So here's my first one. I'm going to add a second one, and I have to make sure that I change this. This really hangs up a lot of students. So it says right now, display features in the layer that match all the following. So when I change this to English name is Ontario, and the other one is English name is Alberta, if I don't change this, it's not going to display anything because it's looking for a place that's called Ontario and Alberta. Not possible. So what we want to do is we want to change this so that it'll display anything that matches either one of those conditions. So it can be Ontario or it can be Alberta. And when I click on the apply filter, voila, I've got my two provinces highlighted. Now, of course, we don't want to stop at that. Whoops. We want to make it pretty, so we can just simply click on that change style tool, and we want to change this so that each English name has a different color, and now we've got two different colors for our provinces. Now, sometimes you're working with numbers. So in the case of earthquakes, just going to pan out here. In the case of earthquakes, not all earthquakes are created equal. So this is information overload. There's just too much information here. And we really don't care about the little earthquakes. Let's say we want to find ones that have a magnitude of greater than 8. And those are the only ones we're interested in. So I turn on my layer, I click on the filter, and sometimes the descriptions in here can be rather vague. You might have to go into the layer description to find out what each one of the terms are, but this one is pretty clear. So if magnitude is greater than 8, or maybe 7.9, let's make it 7.9, then display it. So now it's just the big earthquakes that are being shown off. Now let's say you make a mistake. If you want to go, oh wait a sec, no, I want the earthquakes to be 6.9 or greater. So if I go back in, I can click on edit, and I can go is equal to, where is it? Or is it at least 6.9? So let's say that's what we really wanted, and then apply the filter. If, for instance, you simply don't want the filter on anymore, you can simply click on the filter and remove filter. Now, sometimes what you'll want to do is you'll want to create multiple layers. So for instance, let's say I've got a presentation and I want to turn on the Canadian Shield, and then later on I want to turn on the interior planes. So in that case, what I would do is I click on the three little dots here and I make a copy of this layer. And the first one here has got the Canadian Shield on it. So I'm going to rename this by clicking on those three dots and renaming it Canadian Shield. And then I'm going to take my second one. So I'll just turn this one off for now. And my other one here has got the same thing, but I'm going to change that filter now so that instead of being the Canadian Shield, it's the interior planes, for instance. And now I can just click on those three little dots and rename this one the interior planes. So now it's just a click away. If I want to see the interior planes, I can turn that on. If I want to see the Canadian Shield, I can turn that one on. Or if I want to see both at the same time, I can turn both of them on. So a handy little tool.